Welcome to this week's episode of Ask the Boss, where we are talking all things women's safety and how it feels to be a woman out in the real world, something that men may not have thought about. This week we're talking about having tradies in your house and just generally being out and about on public transport, all things that are normally quite okay, but not for women in general. But we do have a man on the couch this week. He is smelly, huffing and puffing. I'm covered in his fur already, but we'll let him off because he's very cute. Let's get on with it. So I've got something that boys probably have never even thought about. And I am constantly meeting new tradespeople at our house. And I don't think that Miles, I don't want to throw him under the bus, but I don't think he would think this. And basically I'm like, Miles, you need to come along with me because I don't know who this person is coming into my home and the house is empty and there's no one else around. Do you guys have the same feeling?
Yeah. Well, I obviously live in my house, so I always have my husband in, but he's usually at work. He usually needs to be non-disturbed, and also I love him to pieces, but he really can't contribute anything to the conversation.
I mean, Miles is the same.
So I don't have to necessarily bring him in, but I do know what you mean. I will often, when I'm talking to the tradesperson, maybe trying to get a quote or like getting them round, I will very much go like, oh, me and my husband, we really would like this quote. Oh, my husband was thinking, I'll like, even if Steph didn't have a thought, but he thought lots of things when I'm having this conversation with the tradie because I want this tradie to be like, okay, and I hate saying this out loud, but I've just realised it while talking to you. I want this tradie to think it's my husband running the show because then I think he's going to less likely try and rip me off.
It's like the like garage thing when people take their cars in and they like.
It's true. I don't like going to the garage just on my own.
But it's more than just being ripped off. Like, especially in the state of our homes, especially when I had tradies in, it's just like kind of barren. And you're just meeting someone in the middle of a building site. And it just, especially in the winter, a lot of our stuff was done in the winter. And I'm incredibly unorganised as it is. So I always kind of forget to set something up and I'll be there waiting and I'm actually shitting myself a little bit because I'm like, I don't know who this person is. I haven't done my research.
When your house isn't secure as well, like ours is now secure and closed. You had the same thing where like the back was off. And you have too, like they could just come and break back in.
But isn't that awful that you are in your own house that you have bought, renovating it yourself, and then the idea of some bloke, because it is a bloke, coming to your house makes you really scared. It makes you kind of like actually shit yourself a little bit.
All right, the last few weeks, we have been talking quite a lot about Brandon Hire Station because they have kindly sponsored a couple of episodes, including this one, which is very kind of them. And I was thinking about it because I have not actually hired anything from them yet because I have not been very DIY on my project yet, but things are about to change and I'm very excited. And I was thinking about the fact that hiring it rather than buying stuff, like I know that you guys got so many ridiculous things that where on earth would you store that? And as some of you may know, we got burgled, so I don't really want tools lingering around in my garage for someone to come and pinch off of me.
If anyone looks through your windows, when you're renovating, I haven't got curtains. If people saw big expensive tools, it's just asking to be broken into.
Yeah, and even our builder hires stuff. I know that for a fact. He bought in like a big thing to put the steels up and the props and things like that. They weren't his own tools. He hired those. So
where are you going to store all of this? Have you seen the size of a stump grinder?
Yeah. Exactly.
And something that we love most about Brandon Hire Station is that, yes, of course, some tradies do absolutely hire stuff because it makes logical sense, but they're all completely open to DIYers as well. You do not just have to be someone who does it every single day, and that's why it's perfect to hire.
Yeah, I looked into it and honestly, they have so many different things. Like, I don't think I'm ever going to have trouble like with the garden, decorating, sanding any floorboards I need to do. I know you guys have both done that.
Yeah.
And if any of you guys want to have a cheeky little discount, we have a discount of 10% in the bio of Pink 10. So go ahead and use that for all of your DIY or trade needs.
And I was
like
talking about it with my electrician because I was asking him, like, are there many women that were on your course? Like, how many women electricians do you know? And he said that he doesn't know many of them, but women electricians and women tradespeople do incredibly well because loads and loads and loads of women do not want male tradespeople in their home. Like single women especially just don't feel very safe. Especially it's like, okay, you've met the tradesperson, cool. they seem okay, but like Ted Bundy's wife was married to him for how long, and she didn't know he was a serial killer. So your tradesperson could be. Do you know what I mean? Like, you've met him twice. It's not exactly like filling you with confidence. And that person is then in and out of your house over a period of time. Kind of like my tradespeople had keys.
They understand your routine as well. They understand when you're in, when you're not.
And it's just something
they know how to turn off your electricity.
It might sound silly to men listening to it, thinking like, you're being so dramatic, but crazier things have happened, and as a woman in the world, you do have to think about these things, because there are people that are killed or whatever that it wasn't even that they broke into the house, let alone someone you're giving a key to, that can come in and out of your house, and you've only known for a couple of weeks or something.
You know how, and we talk about it all the time, you know, and I think you're touching on it now. You know, the fact that we're saying like not all men, and like, you know, we're trying to explain to the nice guys that like, I get that you're probably nice, but we have to be careful. It reminds me a bit of like the whole bully breed thing. Now I think it's the owner, not the dog, and all that, and I think we could kind of get too confused with my metaphors here, but you know, when I've seen a bully breed, and I have had that like, oh, you know, dear, but you don't know if it's a good bully breed or a bad bully breed. And I actually, Arlo's been attacked by an Alsatian before, so like Alsatians are a no-go for me. If I see one, I am not bothered to offend the owner. I will cross the other way. I'll put Arlo on lead. I'll take him away, because it's not worth he could get hurt. Yeah. And I don't care.
Well, you could get hurt too.
I could get hurt as well, but it's more about him, and like, I'd rather just make the difference. And it's like, and like lots of people get that when it comes to dogs. For some reason they can't get it when it comes to
similarly, if someone handed you a box of Maltesers and said one of them was a ball of shit, you're not going to bother. You're not going to pick one just in case it's that roll of shit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, not
so like,
it's not worth the risk, is it?
Whether it's a shitty Malteser or a bully breed or a man, the risk is just not worth it.
How did you manage it being like an only person on the site?
So I did bring my ex-boyfriend round many times, but just to have like, I didn't want him necessarily in the house with me, but just to be in the car or just be around. Everyone was acutely aware of where I am. I have my location on at all times with my mum.
Yeah.
So like, there are measures in place, but also I do have the unorganizedness, and also I feel like I would get there and then I'd just be shitting myself, and I'd be like, why have I not thought of this?
Yeah.
I'm here. I don't know who I'm meeting, and I'm feeling really, really scared right now. I also don't really know my neighbours. There's no one really around, but I would tend, if I had the forethought, to get my boyfriend at the time to be around just in case, especially when I remember one time specifically, I was meeting a double glazing salesman. It's so random.
The scariest of all.
Yeah, but also like,
they are quite pushy, to be fair.
The quote we had was £2,000, and he came in with £9,000 for the same window. And I listened to him talk.
One window.
Yeah, I listened to him talk.
Window guys are just like, they're on like
another
planet.
breed.
Sorry,
it's a bully breed.
Which it's a bully breed? What window is that?
The front box window. So it cost us £2,000 to get it. And there was this like window replacement scheme where you can give back your old windows.
Yeah.
And he ran through with me all these different things and was like, we're going to replace you. We can like get great before and afters. It's insane. But because I'm a woman, I sat there and went, for like a further 40 minutes instead of just telling him to get lost. And I just pretended like, I'll give you a call. Yeah,
I'll put my my hand in my pocket and pull out that £9,000 that I definitely.
I got home after being there for like 2 hours, and my mum was like, "Why did you just tell him like that's out of my budget?" I was like, "I don't know. I just couldn't physically say no." I'm just funny. Like,
they can be pushy sometimes though. Like we went and got like quotes for a worktop the other day, and the guy was just a bit rubbish. Just nothing that bad. Like they all had stuff, and I chose 3 samples with Miles, and the one we actually liked turned out later that it's now discontinued, right? Which is bad luck. But we were like, okay. We looked around this showroom and there wasn't anything else we liked, so we went to a different one, got it all sorted. This guy on emails, he has not given it a rest. And I'm like, no means no, babe. I've said no like 4 times and he still keeps coming back to me. It's like, I can get it for you. I can do it. It's like, we've already paid the deposit. Like, sorry.
Yeah, please
go away. But I feel like sometimes it's like, he wasn't like that in real life.
The most relentless that there is. That's why I hate being an estate agent, because I just don't have it in me. They said no, I don't want to talk to them again. They don't like me. I don't know if either of you had the Vitrolite I don't know if you had anything, but I had nothing similar, but I had copper pipes.
Okay.
And everyone online was like, I had this big copper water tank and everyone was like, you really should sell that because the copper's worth something. So I put it up on Facebook Marketplace and had people coming to get it. And at the time I realised I had arranged for someone to come and get it, and it was literally at like 8 p.m. at night in the middle of winter, and it was pitch black, and I was like, oh my God, I'm about to die.
Yeah.
But it was, the guy brought his wife, which was like really felt like a good move. And he was really, really lovely. But it is another scary thing. It's similar to tradies, but just like inviting someone that you don't know into your home when you are possibly alone. Again, I had my boyfriend, he was in the car at the time. Just because I'm just like, I just don't feel safe with some random person coming to my house.
Yeah, I have the same thing. I spend a lot of time on Facebook Marketplace. I absolutely love secondhand things, but it does mean that you really have to keep your like wits about you. And you can get scammed quite easily too. On a separate note, like I was looking for a sofa bed and about 20 different listings were all the same photos, and I'm like, well, that's fake then. But yeah, I have to keep Miles with me if I'm going to go and pick something up from somewhere random. If I can't find their Facebook profile, and even then I'm a bit like, oh, I don't know, I find it a bit difficult.
You're teaching me a lot about how to be safe online, because I literally just go to people's houses now. I really do. I went, this is like off tangent now. I went and got like a giant bit of shelving unit for my office, and I have been able to fit a lot in my car. Like I'm basically at the point where like everything will fit, because everything has fit.
It's the same for me. Yeah.
So I go to this guy's house. His wife actually was there, but that wasn't pre-planned by me. Like that was just a happy coincidence. And he's like, yeah, here you go. And anyway, he's like, you need any help getting it in your car? And I was like, can I carry it on my own? And obviously he looks at me and goes, no. But to be fair, it was quite heavy. So we carry it over, and then he's like, are you getting it in that? And I was like, yeah. And he hadn't like disconnected or anything, and I should have brought my screwdriver to, anyway. It fit, but like I had to put I'm short, so my seat is already very close to the steering wheel. I was like, this is the steering wheel. Like it was very, very close, and like it was very weird. Anyway, but no, I literally just went, I go to, and this was dark, like, because it's winter now. So no, I think you guys need to teach me a little bit out. But then I have got into strangers' cars and stuff.
Sorry?
And done. Yeah. I was ages ago when I was a teenager, like 18 or 19 at uni, walking home. I was, Vitality, the roundabout, then if you go over the roundabout away from Bournemouth, there's like long, loads of like roads. Walking along there at like midnight, and some guy just drove up, turned and was like, do you want a lift? I said, yes. I got in his car and I got home safely.
Oh, wow.
And I told my flatmate, and she was like, Dot, you nearly died tonight. And I was like, oh, he was lovely.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I was very aware that like I made a mistake and I shouldn't have done that.
Was it as soon as you sat down in that car, you were like, what have I done?
I was very drunk. It was more after. Right. It was more after. I was like, this could have gone so badly.
Fantastic.
Could have gone so badly. But no, I am. But then at the same time, like, I do still understand the Facebook Marketplace thing. I always, I never give my address out. And this is more just like a thing I do rather than like because of any reason. I never give my address out until like an hour or two before they're actually coming to get it. I give them my postcode, but not my actual address. One time I got shouted on by this guy on the internet, on this group, on the chat thing, because he was like, you're wasting my time. And I was like, here's the postcode. Like, if you want to know how long it's going to take to get to my house, like, you can still work that out. And he's like, no, I need your address. Like, what, you think how am I going to do this an hour before? And I was like, I think we're not going to sell it to you then.
Yeah,
like, I think
that's
we
okay.
I don't
We'll
feel
move on.
particularly safe with this shouty man turning up at my house.
I know. It was crazy. But anyway, so yeah, you guys need to teach me how to be a bit more safer on the internet, because I think I'm... And in real life, apparently, as well, and getting in people's cars.
All of the above, really.
That was like 10 years ago. So.
Yeah, I'm hopefully you've learnt since. Hey, Arlo.
I have scary dog privilege.
So scary. Terrifying dog. Look at him. He can't even get up on the sofa.
Back to us women feeling unsafe in situations that men wouldn't necessarily ever comprehend. Why would we be feeling unsafe? Have you guys ever like ordered Deliveroo and then felt a little bit weird about that whole setup?
Or like when you're your own?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm scared that they're going to figure out that I'm home alone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's just inviting anyone into your home, isn't it? I saw a TikTok about that exact topic actually. And it was this woman saying, I think she lived alone, but she went out and bought secondhand sight boots. I think she must have seen them in like the charity shop or something, just to leave by her front door.
Yeah, and see, that I would say to you, like, super smart. Bless. I've just realised I've got an awful thing to say, which I can't believe I even know this. My cousin, who is a few years younger than me, she was early 20s at this point, maybe even 20. Her dad is a builder, okay? So those sight shoes were 100% on the porch. She was home alone because she lives with her dad. But they were out. And she was there on her own, and this guy literally came through the door, asked her, "Are you on your own?" She, because she hasn't really learned like to be streetwise, was like, "Yeah," because she learned not to lie to people.
Yeah.
And he literally came in and he started asking her if he could charge his phone, could he have a glass of water, and made her feel so uncomfortable. Luckily, nothing happened, but literally it really shook her, and obviously really shook her dad as well when he found out later. And that happened here where we live in a nice area. And like I say, there would have been sight shoes.
It is awful. But the thing that's worse is that it's almost like not surprising. It's kind of like when I open the door and I'm envisaging the worst case scenario, I envisage stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's not the worst case scenario. That's just a bad situation, which is, again, awful that that's not the worst case scenario. It's just a bad situation. But when I'm like opening the door, I'm thinking, like, I have high anxiety as it is. And I'm always scanning and I'm always thinking, I'm always like, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? Even if I go and sit at dinner on a date, I'm like, what happens if like anything happens? I can't physically do it.
So stay safe, yeah.
So I'm thinking, what's the worst case scenario? What's the bad thing? And the bad thing is the man walks through the door. So it's kind of like, it's something you're scared of happening. It's not something that's like, oh, he suddenly like grew wings and flew away. And you're like, that's crazy. I never thought that would happen. Like, this is just something that you're like, yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I am worried about that
there
happening
isn't
to me.
really anything that I can like tell you girls or you could tell me and we're not going to go. Like, yeah, like that's like, we're more trying to shake and shock other people than we are like ourselves, because we're like, yeah, no, that's actually something I felt before as well.
Have you ever watched those like detective TV shows and people talk about like signs of forced entry and the fact that most of the time the people are let in because they're like people that you're familiar to, or a situation like that where you invite the person in. Not that you're inviting a delivery driver in, but like half the battle of getting into a house is getting in the door. If you open the door to let that person give you the food, you just have to, you're just always thinking about these things as a woman.
It's like when you're like, obviously been a long time since I've been on any dates, but when I was dating, I don't know if I talked about it on the podcast just generally, but there was this guy who's a bit weird. Fine date, but not for me. Like, no issue there. And I lived in the middle of the town.
Now you're marrying him.
Now I'm marrying him. Yeah, no, Miles was this weird. I know it wasn't him. But met up, did the date, whatever. And I was like, not up for this. I lived in the city centre at the time. So I always walked back home. It was like, I think it was actually light outside. Like, I'm pretty sure it was the summer or something. And I was like, all right, yep, see ya. And he was like, oh, come back, walk to my car. And I was like, okay, sure. Like, he really liked his car, whatever. And he was so insistent on driving me home. And bear in mind, where I lived, it would have been more inconvenient for him to drive me home than me to walk home, because it was like that sort of city. But he wouldn't let it go. And he was so pissy with me afterwards. And I'm like, what? So you think that being angry at me for not letting you walk me home or drive me home is going to help your cause here? Like, I already wasn't into it anyway. I'd already told him this on the date. Normally it'd be after the date that I would have said, thanks, great to meet you, but not interested. I said it on the date and he still tried to get back to my house.
But it's like similar vein, two things. But being recently single, I was then like, I haven't dated in like the normal world. If you think that I was at school and then I was at university, and you're always kind of like under the protection of an institution. Obviously, like not every boy at uni is going to be a good guy. They definitely are not. But you just feel that almost like level of extra safety that they go to the same uni as you. They're in your lectures.
Yeah, there probably is a mutual friend, yeah.
But like, as we know, most of the people who are sexually assaulted or killed, it's normally by someone that they know. So that is actually completely cold comfort. Yeah. But just in terms of like your own peace of mind, you have this idea and sense that the people that you know are safer, which they're not. But so I haven't dated since I've been under uni or school or working. Like I met my ex-boyfriend at work. And then now being 26 and single again, thinking, I don't want to go on dates with people I don't know. Like, what if they're going to hurt me? Yeah. Like there's that fear. And when I was in my relationship and I didn't want to be in it anymore and I was thinking about breaking up, it was like, I don't want to face the single world, not from a position of like, I don't want to be single and alone. It's just like, I don't want to be single and scared. Like, I don't want to have to date and be terrified of everyone I'm dating and be scared to go on dates and be like,
it's like this thing of have you got home safe? Text me when you get home safe, and like sharing your location with friends when you go on a
friends
date.
Coming to the same bar that you're in to make sure that you're okay. Yeah. And when we were at uni, I remember there was a boy who he had his girlfriend. We kind of had just not like an intervention with her. We were just chatting with her, and she'd always be round, and then she'd be like, "Oh, I'm going home," and he'd be like, "Okay, see you later." And I lived in a house with like 5 boys in my last year and like 8 boys in my second year or something. So we were in loads of boys around us, and none of them would let any of us girls walk to a friend's house or walk to anyone's house alone.
That's really nice of them.
But it's the bare minimum. This was around the time of Sarah Erevard, and things were getting things were like very heightened, and everyone was talking about it, and it was very at the forefront of people's minds that like women's safety was a big issue. Like it was declared like a national crisis a couple of years ago, or like last year. But I remember his girlfriend, he would just say to his girlfriend like, "See you later," and we were always like, "Bleep, you can't do that. Like bleep. This is your girlfriend and you're letting her walk home alone through the streets of Cathays," which is like not a bad place, but it's definitely not like a super safe place. But my mum talks about my standards for boys sometimes, but the boys that I lived with would never let us walk home alone. They'd come and pick us up.
Did they have like sisters and stuff, do you think?
Some of them had sisters, but also they had known, so I was the president of the Feminist Society, and Fee, one of my really good friends from uni, was the vice president of the Feminist Society. So in our group, we were very
vocal.
We were very vocal. We talked about this stuff. Also in our house, about 4 of the 7 studied politics. Okay. We were constantly having these kinds of discussions, like classic uni students, just like putting the world to rights. Yeah. Like thinking you know everything. But it meant that we were constantly having these conversations, and the boys, it was a safe space for them to be like, well, why should I put myself out of my way to walk you home? Or why is catcalling bad? Or like, why is da-da-da-da-da? And we would have these really open conversations. And I feel like those kind of conversations very much helped with them being as open-minded as they are.
Definitely, that sounds great.
But they are out there. I just haven't met any since like that.
I love that. But then to be fair, back on the walking home thing. So when I was in second year of uni, I was Bournemouth uni, and I used to have to walk quite far to get back home. And in my course, we were in all the time. I was working like 9 to 5, 6, 7 days a week. To be fair, in second year less so, but still we were there for most of the day. And by the time it gets to winter, which is a lot of uni time, sun would go down at 3 and I'd have to leave at 2:30 to make sure I get back before it gets dark. And on my walk home, a woman got, I think, stabbed and killed, maybe raped and killed, or maybe just raped. I don't know, something happened on my walk home. Not while I was there, but then they cordoned off the part of the street, and I had to walk past that every day. And I was just like, what is going on? And I didn't live, so on my course, lots of boys, and my friends were mainly boys, and they were great. And I'd often sleep on their sofa because they lived closer, and it meant that I could stay at uni with them and then just sleep on their sofa rather than going home, because I just didn't feel physically safe walking back on my own. And I'd constantly be trying to get lifts and trying to get back home, but that does affect like your studies and stuff. And I mean,
absolutely.
I live further away, which is annoying, but like I don't want to have to walk all the way down Winton High Street at 4:30 in the afternoon because someone might come and jump me. Like, what? That shouldn't be a thing.
Exact same thing, but slightly different. Going back to Sarah Erevard, she was taken from Clapham Common and just outside Clapham Common or around that area. And one of my best friends, Gemma, walks from the station, because Clapham is really weirdly laid out in my opinion.
Yeah, it's really annoying.
Got Clapham South, and then you've got the other Clapham one that people go to,
Clapham
and they're really far apart, and everyone lives in the middle, so everyone's kind of got a big walk from whatever station. She had to walk past where Sarah Erevar was taken that year, like every day, and it was just one of those, just like, it literally could have been Gemma, it could have been any of the people, and I know several people that did that same walk every single day. There was 2 women that were stabbed outside where I used to work in Branksome.
Really?
And
they were.
do you remember that?
Yes.
And all the girls were like, oh my God, that could have been me. I feel like so many women have that kind of story where they're like, oh my God, it could have been me.
Yeah.
Because our proximity to these kind of awful stories is so small.
It's also not as rare as you'd like it to be.
No, it's like you can probably name one every few months.
Yeah.
That happens.
The thing with this though is that what happens is it's really scary, and we've had it all our lives, from stories from like being a kid all the way to now. But it's then when you're in like a serious relationship with your partner, and then it's when they have the sudden realization that, oh, this could have been my girlfriend, or this, because, and that's when then suddenly it's like, oh, okay, I actually will walk you home, or like, oh no, you can't go out past nighttime, and it's this kind of real balance between, well, I've been doing that my whole life. I need to for my work or my job.
You don't even
or
think
whatever.
about it. It's just innately in you that like you've got to look out for yourself. And I think when boys realise that, I remember when I first was dating Miles, actually, he was talking about how when he was talking to his sister when they were teenagers, and she's constantly on edge. Like most of the time when she's out and about, she's just thinking about who's around her and where things are.
Plan.
And he just has no comprehension of that. He joked earlier that if he was being followed by someone, he wouldn't know for days because he's just not aware of his surroundings, which is maybe something that he should work on. But anyway, he doesn't need to. Like, I worry about having my hair in a ponytail because they could grab hold of it. I have my keys ready if I need to stab them with my keys. I don't know what I could do
with
with
that. Do I act like I'm on the phone, or does that make me look like I'm too distracted so I'm an easy target? Or does it make me look like I've got the backup of I've got someone on the phone? Do I look at my phone? Do I put it in my back pocket? Like, what is the best way to do this?
I can't have both my headphones in because I won't be able to hear what's going on around me. I love the transparency mode on my headphones.
Yeah.
But then it's like, well, because I've got my headphones in, does that make me look like an easy target? Because they think that I'm not paying attention. Yeah. So the statistic is that 75% of women feel unsafe walking at night. I would argue it's more than that.
It must be more.
And then in the daytime, 30% of women feel anxious walking around or unsafe walking around in the day.
It's so interesting. I find this, especially around here. You walk from one road and then you walk onto the next one and you feel unsafe and you're fine on that road. It really depends on where you are. Like when you're in London, it happens quite a lot. I don't really love being in London in the busy places because I just don't like crowds. But you walk down one road and you're like, oh, this is all right. Yep, still aware, but like this is okay. And you walk around the corner and you're like, you can just feel it. The energy changes.
It's just because there's people there.
But it's not even the people or no people. I actually find it worse when places are empty because you're like, where are you hiding?
Do you ever have it where like you're walking somewhere and it's quite quiet and then you see a big group of people and you're like, oh, calm people, and they're like, what if they're the bad people?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Like I was chill for a minute because I just saw a big group and then I realised they're men and now I'm terrified.
Well, it's like I was going to Abba Voyage a few weeks ago, which is fun, by the way, people should go. And I was walking from Stratford Station because I was staying around there. I had to drop my bag off before meeting my friend. And I was walking through and there was no one around. It was really creepy. I was like, what's going on? It was like a sort of estate on the way to the hotel. And then when I was walking back from the hotel, there was a woman with a pram in front of me and like a toddler. And I was like, okay, I'm fine. I can just walk near her and I'm okay because we'll be all together. But I hate that that's something that you have to look out for.
But when just quickly going back to what you said about like when men have that realization that they're like, oh, women have had to think about this our whole lives, because it is ingrained in us from a very, very young age. Like, don't get in the back of a van if a man says he's got sweeties.
Don't get into someone's car when you're drunk walking home at night.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, mum.
And we have this like, I feel like all the stories, all the documentaries, if you think about, I think the statistics somewhere 90-something% of all violent crime is committed by men, which means like it's terrifying. So it's a very scary thing, but I think that a lot of the anxiety that I feel, I don't think if I was a boy, I'd have nearly the anxiety levels that I do because I'm so aware of my surroundings all the time, like you said about Miles' sister. But what I hate is when I talk to boys, and fine, if they come to this realization themselves because they don't have a sister or they're talking to a sister at hopefully a young age and they start to gain some empathy and think, oh, okay, I'm understanding this is not my lived experience. I've never had to think like this, but you have, and I'm understanding how shit it is. what really upsets me is when I'm having these conversations like I did at uni a lot of the time, because I was in a position where I was having these conversations, not even necessarily with allies or friends, but like I used to go and speak to the male sports societies and really be like, hey guys, it's a safe space. Ask me and I will answer the questions that you want to know about feminism and about women's safety, and we can talk about it and I won't shout at you for doing it. Mm-hmm. But what would annoy me the most is when I talk to these men and they'd be like, oh, I don't get it. And I'd be like, think about if that was your daughter or your sister. And then they go, and I'm like, why the hell does it have to be someone that you're related to for you to actually care?
Or to see them as a human being.
Yeah, why does it have to be someone that close to you for you to recognise that it's a bad thing? Why are women not important enough that it's happening to women every single day, that it only matters when it's one of your mums or sisters or something like that? Like
a relation.
Why do I have to put it in that close like reality to you for you to actually care?
So Meg, I know you're really upset that I got into someone's car. I actually did learn...
I'm not upset, I just feel sorry for little old you. Baby you. You got very lucky.
I think she was a bit dumb. I don't think we should feel sorry for her at all.
Arlo's got no sympathy.
Arlo is Arlo. So so I wasn't the smartest move, but the other day I had an Alison Lee booked for me in London. And
what's that?
What the hell is an Alison Lee?
An Alison Lee is like a taxi service, but it's a little bit more upmarket, a little bit more expensive. Basically, it was organised for me by a brand when I went up to London during the train strikes, because getting a normal taxi would have been a nightmare. Now, it turns out Alison Lee actually do sometimes use normal taxis. So I did get a normal taxi in the end. Anyway, not the point. He rings me and he's like, oh, I'm outside, I'm here. And he gives me really detailed instructions. Cool. No problem. He's there, like he said. He's really, he seems really friendly. He knows where I want to go. All good. So I get in the back of it and we drive off. We're about 2 to 4. We're about 2 minutes away after we've got off, and I get the notification saying, your taxi has just arrived. This is the number plate. And I'm thinking, but I'm in the taxi. And I didn't check the number plate. And has this guy just somehow and also it wasn't an Addison Lee branded car. So suddenly I am now really panicked. I'm thinking I'm in a fake taxi situation, which is a whole different story. But I'm not particularly pleased with the situation that I put myself in. And I'm trying to see if there's a way to check the number plate from inside the taxi cab. Now, someone might be able to tell me that there is a way. I couldn't. I was looking around the whole thing. There is, however, the license number. So, and it all looked very it had all these little signs and stuff. It didn't. I was thinking if this was fake or it was a scam, I don't think that would have quite as much going on than they do. But anyway, they had ads. I was like, there's an ad for British Airways there. I'm pretty sure I am in a taxi. But anyway, I typed in the license number and it kind of did come up to be proper, and it did seem legit. So I was like, okay, I'm sure I am fine. And it was fine. And it was absolutely fine. But yeah. So, and you said that we should be taking photos of our taxi license plates before we get in the taxi.
And sending it to a friend.
It's something that I don't do in Bournemouth so much because I trust United taxis. I use them all the time. But especially if I'm on my own, if I remember, I don't always remember, I will take a photo of a taxi and then
I've never done that
number
in my
plate
entire
and then
life.
send it to a friend or Miles or something.
I've heard enough stories about people being sexually assaulted by taxi drivers. It's again what we were talking about earlier, thinking about the worst case scenario. I feel like a guy can just get in the back of the cab and just happily chat with the guy about his night and nothing else. But I just am scared in taxis. But then if you think about the tube or buses, how close you are to other people, I think we've all heard horror stories of women being on buses or being on tubes and being sexually assaulted or anything like that. Do you know what I mean?
It's like in Sex Education where
Amy,
is her name Amy in Sex Education as well as in real life?
Don't know actually.
Her name's definitely Amy in real life.
Amy Lou Wood, who is a babe, but she gets wanked on the bus, doesn't she? And it's a whole storyline, and it's that is awful and not that uncommon, realistically.
It's kind of similar vein, but firstly, have you seen, there's so many videos on social media of girls that take videos and they'll be like, this guy was looking at me weird, and he's like very much pervert vibes.
Or filming them.
Yeah, or filming them on the train and the bus. But the other thing about public transport that I hate is when there's like a big bolshy group of men on the train
Yeah.
in the same carriage as you. You feel particularly unsafe, especially kind of like coming back from a game or coming back from the pub. Yeah, football for me only incites feelings of negativity. Like the domestic violence increases whether they win, lose or draw, pretty much. There is no positive spin on it. There is no positive
game, isn't it?
Yeah, there's nothing good. But it hand in hand is just like when you have like that big group of men on the train, I'm just like, I feel incredibly unsafe. You're all it's something about they're just like volatile.
They're
like
also
I don't know
each
what
other up, aren't they?
Yeah, I don't know what to expect here. You're all shouting, you're all drinking. It's really stressful. And I've been around guys like that when I was really young, and I think that doesn't help. But there's just something about that volatility of a man.
I also think I remember this from when I was younger because I lived on the outskirts of London. It was not London, but I was on a tube line. And whenever, and especially because I was getting off at quite a small stop, if you left the train station and you were walking back, you were really aware of who was behind you. Because I know a lot of people who get off at a different stop and then come back again just to like lose that person, because if you're getting off and walking home, you don't want that person following you home.
So this happened to one of my sister's friends the other day. Literally like last week, Anya told me about it. Her friend was on her way home from Westbourne. I think she was going to Southbourne. And she got on the bus and the guy got on the bus. And she was kind of like immediately thinking, this guy's following me. The likelihood of him following her was probably quite slim. Turns out he was following her.
Right.
And she kind of experimented by when they got to town, she got off to see if she was thinking, I'm being paranoid because I'm a woman. I think he's following me and I'm being paranoid and I'll get off the bus and he'll stay on the bus and then I can chill. So she got off the bus and he got off the bus and she was like, okay. So she in hindsight, it probably wasn't a good solution. She could have just got a cab, but why? I can't afford a fucking taxi in my situation at the moment. Do you know what I mean? Like she's young, working a minimum wage job.
You shouldn't
She's
be pushed
like,
to that.
why should I have to get a cab? And it wasn't even about why should I. She just can't afford to get a cab, I think, or didn't even think about it. So she then starts walking away. She's thinking, I don't want to get on a bus and then he follow me on the bus and then I get off the bus to go home and he follows me home. So hopefully I can just lose him. So she starts walking away trying to lose him and he follows her all the way from Bournemouth all the way to Southbourne. She walks all the way home because she doesn't know what to do. She just keeps walking, hoping he'll give up. And then she started running and he started running. And she ended up losing him and getting into her house. And she turned all the lights off and she could see him scanning the houses and walking and looking in all the houses. And it's like,
God,
this is why
yeah,
we are worried when we're walking around, because it actually happens. And this is the kind of story that we hear from mates. This is not the kind of thing that hits the news. This is all the stuff that goes unreported,
also,
unchatted about.
Nothing that in the eye of the law, nothing happened there.
Exactly.
So like that's why
that's not included in the
fair.
statistics. That's not included in the stories we hear on the news. That's just simply, I heard it because it's Anya's really good friend, and now you guys have heard it through that.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, Anya probably has the same. Well, Anya will have the same views as you and would have been made a really open channel of communication with that friend and explain, like, you can tell me the story and there'll be no judgment. But I bet you in most situations that girl would have told her dad, her brother, her friend, whoever it might be, and they would have been like, are you sure? Are you sure they were following you?
Or you should have got a cab. Maybe you're being paranoid. Yeah, it could have been like, I think you're being paranoid. Like maybe he was just going in the same direction. It's like I literally got on the bus, off the bus and walked 3 miles and he followed me the whole way.
Yeah.
But there was a similar situation of I was at my dad's friend's house with my dad and it was a family thing and everyone was in the garden and their daughter came running home crying and she'd just been chased home from Merrick Park. She walked... It wasn't Merrick Park. It was Talbot Woods area through Merrick Park from town. And the dad's one of the men at the table's first reaction was she should have just got a cab. She should have just got a cab. It was like, again, she's working a minimum wage job. She's under 18. She was in the middle of Merrick Park. How do you order a cab from Merrick Park? Because you're in the middle of a thing. But
you're immediately justifying it. But I know you know the same truth as me, which is he shouldn't have chased her.
Yeah, it's not her fault that she didn't order a cab. You're finding a way to make it her issue. And also, why should we fork out extra money for cabs when because we are disproportionately affected by this situation? And also, when someone's following you, you don't stop, go on your phone,
you keep
find
going.
the number, call the cab, you run. And she ran, and I went to school with her. Her whole family are athletes, in a colloquial sense. She's not actually like Team GB, but she's a good runner, and she ran all the way home. If that were me, I don't know if I would have made it.
I'd be like, take me.
I'm not as quick and don't have the stamina, but like she ran all the way home.
Bless her.
We're talking about women's safety, but like even if there was let's say we lived in a more built up area and there was an Uber or a taxi rank available, nearby, like would we really think that's a safe option for us as
again,
well?
like I'm going to go from this man to another man. But the other thing I forgot is that when they called the police, they did call the police in this case. The police said, yeah, we are aware of this guy. The police are aware of this, that in Merrick Park, they have had several reports from other women flashing, stalking, chasing the same guy. And it was just kind of like, yeah, he's known. We know.
Boys will be boys.
I guess they can't get him until he's done something, but that's so shit.
Like he has done something.
I don't know. Like, I don't know if they could get him in the eyes of the law, but it was just the fact that like no one. It's the bystander effect. No one around took a picture. No one around stepped in. No one around did anything to help the situation. I don't know. I think if someone had taken a photo, then maybe they would have something on file.
I just love this like kind of union of women who we can just start screaming at men like pervert or like whatever
barking.
It is, and like
barking.
and like be unapologetic for it. And like I know I keep bringing it back to this dog walking thing, but the dog walking thing's a real like it's something that I've experienced a lot of, which is, you know, I much rather offend someone than potentially put my dog in danger. And I know I keep kind of I know we're talking about women's safety, and I know I should be more about like my own safety. I know I've obviously.
But it's your lived experience. It's just
my lived experience, but also I think like I care about myself. I care about my safety, absolutely. But I have this child. I have this thing. You know, this thing I take care of, and like obviously I put my welfare. I put his welfare above mine. So it's very easy for me to like advocate for his safety and not advocate for mine. But that's why I keep talking about it like that. But it's the same with like when we talk to men when they have daughters. That's when they really get it, and you're like, okay.
But I even worry for when we have daughters. Like, it's one thing putting our own safety on the line, but like then worrying, because we've all done it, like walked home when we shouldn't have done, because there's the kind of the part in me that's like, why should I pay for a cab when all these boys get to save money and walk home? Why should I? And I'm like, I'm going to walk home because I get to that level of drunk where I'm like, I'm invincible. And then it's like so many times could I have died, because so many women are just taken running alone at night or walking alone at night or just literally, and it doesn't matter whether it's you're walking 3 miles or walking 50 meters. If that is where you're going to get taken, you're going to get taken. Do you know what I mean? You could literally just walk down the road, wrong place, wrong time. But there's that adamant person in you that's like, fuck yeah, I'm going to do it. But then if you think about your daughter, it's like, now I'm terrified. Do you know what I mean? Like, you have a sense of, well, it's my own safety that you're kind of dealing with.
So I know it's something that we talk about all the time, like walking home and sharing our location and did you get home okay and everything. And I know for a fact that if you are listening to this or watching this, you probably have a story or you felt this way. As always, you can always email us. We'd love to hear from you, whether that's to complain about something or give some advice, or actually maybe you want to tell us a funny story to lighten the mood. That would also be really appreciated. The email is on the screen somewhere. I'm sure I meant to know what it is. It's asktheboss@something.
It's asktheboss@Southcast.studio is the email. So drop us a line if you have anything that you want to talk to us about. We also have our DMs. They are always open. So if you have any stories or anything that you want to talk to any of us individually for, then please do let us know. Thank you so much for watching. And yeah, like, comment, subscribe. Make sure that you do leave us a 5-star review on Spotify. It's in the 3 dots and it's within there, and it's quite difficult to find. So go in there. It makes a huge difference to us. So yeah, hope you have a good week and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.